Oh God, I can't. I want to go to like. I can't wait for like SHOT Show, like this year, like to get out and do just have like a vacation for both of us or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Quit choking on that dick.
It's not that, but okay. How you doing, Warhammer?
It's fucking. I noticed her boy. I've been seeing a whole bunch of was it those YouTuber boxing matches?
Yeah, is it Herrera in that?
I think so.
He's fighting.
Yeah, the dude is training like really, really hard, really, really hard.
I saw something. I don't know anything about it. Okay, but I did see a thumbnail for the unsubscribed podcast that I'm catching up on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I saw it. So I was guessing that he's actually doing that, and apparently he is.
Imagine if I'm actually a part of the boxing YouTube boxer thing, and then all of a sudden you're in the corner and you say, "Give him the crouching tiger, drunken uncle." That's going to be the sponsorship. That's going to be the sponsorship of my on my boxing shorts. Crouching tiger, drunken uncle. And start the intro. That would suck.
Fuck it. So I have a mouse in my office here. I think I hear.
Way to start that off. Welcome
around.
to the Article 1776 podcast. I am Matthew Kicklighter. This is Scottsdale 87, and according to Lou, we have a guest around called
Jerry.
Mousy. Jerry.
No, his name is Jerry. Yeah. Oh, look. So, yeah, I could set a mousetrap. There's only one, and he's fairly large. He's got some age on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like New York City rat size or anything like that, but he's a field mouse, you know? Like, they're field mice. I live in the country. We get field mice. They're animals, you know? I get ladybugs in the summer and the fall.
I wonder
in office.
I wonder if he ever joins you on like a smoke session and then accidentally gets high.
I mean, one of these days he's gonna fuck around and find out. But I know people are probably like, "Ew, that's." Yeah, I fucking yelled at him today because he scared the shit out of me. He was up on the desk right here, and I saw his little head poke out from behind like my ibuprofen bottle.
Yeah.
And I looked down because he moved. I was like, "Ah, what the fuck are you doing, Jerry?"
Next thing you know, he comes down from the refrigerator with a whole hunk of cheese because he has a mouse. He has a mouse. He's like, what is it? Like stoned out of his mind and
he's just laying in the refrigerator just
with the whole thing of cheese.
Well, good thing I don't keep big old blocks of cheese. Actually, I have some Pecorino Romano Parmesan on a block, but that's about it.
Next thing you know, you'll find
I know people. I know people are going to say, "Oh, that can cause a mouse infestation." Well, check this out. I got cats. He assumes risk living here. All right. He makes it upstairs one day, and the cats get a hold of him. That's on bro. Like I said, he already knows and assumes the risk by living in this house because he's lost like 5 or 6 of his buddies already.
If you have the mouse, okay, I'm not really worried about. But if you have spiders, I'm shooting holes in the house for that fucking
Yeah.
spider.
Yeah, we get spiders every now and then.
Yeah, so
Especially down in here. So when I got the shop vac, I vacuumed under the fucking radiant heat stuff. And I got this big ass spider web. In about 20 minutes, I started doing other stuff like cleaning and shit because I know you're going to be here for the wedding. And I looked on my wall. There was like a spider about that big on the fucking wall. And I stuck the fucking vacuum to it. And I made sure like it went in there. And then I set the vacuum up like that, like the tube up. And I left it running for about 5-10 minutes. So that spider was like whirling around in there for 5-10 minutes. That motherfucker died.
all I know, if I see a spider, I'm shooting shit.
Use the 22. Don't use a 40, please.
I'll go in between. I'll use a 9mm. Fuck
Nah,
that
use
spider.
Look, I know that my office is like semi underground and shit like that. Like if I look out the windows, you can see like the grass, like the dirt in the grass.
I don't care if it's above or under. If I see that spider, I'm shooting.
Just don't shoot at the roof, okay?
I'm not shooting.
Bedroom. No, I'm just saying the roof. Like part of my bedroom is under this room, so or above this room, so don't shoot
not
up.
Like I'm shooting cum at the damn spider.
I'm just saying, don't shoot up because you hit me or the lady. And I swear to God,
the next thing you know,
you may not be scared of me, but you should be fucking afraid of her.
Imagine you see a spider all crunched up and cringly.
If you shoot a spider, there's not going to be anything left of the spider. You know that.
I'm not talking with the gun. I'm talking about with cum.
Ew, God.
That's what I mean. You didn't catch when I said that?
Put it in a sock and keep it off my roof.
Who said that I'd aim towards the roof?
Keep it off my
at
floor.
The spider.
Oh, all right, Spider-Man.
I'm that special Spider-Man that would actually
Peter Parker.
Yeah, that I got bit and then had.
I'm the Green Goblin.
my webs come out my dick.
It's got to be painful.
You
swing from it.
Yeah, I've seen one animated series that like a parody that showed what if Spider-Man had webs shooting out of his dick.
Of course you would watch that. I watch Dragon Ball Z and you're watching Spider-Man coming webs out of his dick. Who's the fucking nerd now?
He fucking swang and then he was just screaming as he was swinging.
Speaking of which, I gotta order my fucking snap caps.
Speaking of spider cum.
No, ew. Oh, you've played Skyrim, right?
Spider cum made you think of something?
No, I was already thinking of something that I wanted to tell you, and that you went on this tangent about spider jizz. Oh, fuck has this podcast become, man? No, you've played Skyrim before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the very beginning when you're stuck in the cart, your hands are tied up, and you're with that dude roll off, and he's like, "I wonder if Homeboy is still making the mead with the juniper berries."
Oh God.
I ordered dried juniper berries off Amazon. My sister is sending me some fresh yarrow to dry, and I've got the mason jars, I've got the brewer's yeast, and I've got enough honey to make honey mead. So like I'm actually making mead, and it's going to be the Skyrim recipe that I actually found the actual recipe for what they use apparently in well, I found it on Instagram, but apparently it was on TikTok beforehand. That's pretty cool.
Shit.
We get drunk off homemade meat on the podcast.
Speaking about homemade stuff.
What you got?
Not for me, but you mentioned something about another house that is white and that had homemade stuff that is also white.
Oh, yeah. So, well, if you don't already know, you live under a rock. But on Sunday, last Sunday, I believe it was, not yesterday, but last Sunday, apparently they found cocaine in one of the most highly secured areas in the White House. Who lives at the White House?
Biden, a couple of executives, I think.
Who's a certain son that lives at the White House?
Hunter.
Yep. Who is one with a known drug problem?
Hunter. And would it be something of this? Is that if he did the drugs on top of the secret documents that we were...
He's in the Lincoln room on the dresser just... No, I think it's first, it's unfair to specifically automatically assume that it's Biden's. However, coincidences are kind of funny because there's a video, it's about a 4-second clip, you can find it on Fox and CNN and all that shit, of Hunter Biden looks coked out of his mind for like a party. It looks like the 4th of July party, I think it was. He looks coked out of his mind. He's all like, yeah. He's like a squirrel on a tin roof.
Yeah, like
I would say it's fair to assume it's his.
Do you want to know? That's a weird, stupid, baller, dumbass move. Next thing I won't be surprised. Next thing I hear is that Hunter Biden took a picture of his asshole in the middle of the Oval Office while snorting cocaine. Like,
I mean, that's probably on there. They're trying to hide it.
Yeah, they're probably doing an extreme version of a selfie. Duck face except for the asshole.
Duck ass. You show me that rosebud.
I won't. Really. I won't. Nothing surprises me anymore with the government. Nothing.
That fucking whole administration is so goddamn scandal ridden. It's ridiculous. No one says anything, but if it was, oh my god, if it was Trump, if it was Trump, or if it was anybody else, it was Bush. Maybe not Obama. They'd probably go after Clinton, though. They went after Clinton pretty hard, though.
Yeah. Well, then again, the Clintons did do a whole bunch of fucked up shit, too.
Yo, yeah, no, definitely. But, like, once he fucked Lewinsky in the Oval Office and, like, was smoking joints and shit, they were like, yeah, this guy's got to go. You find cocaine in the Oval Office, you're talking... Let's say it's not Hunter Biden, okay? It's somebody else on the payroll, on the government payroll. That's the most sensitive, one of the most sensitive areas in the White House. The White House houses the most powerful politician in all the free world. Regardless of who it is, the office, it's the office. Yeah, we get that. What else is getting in there? What else is passing through those doors? What else is going out of those doors?
Now, I know why. Here's the thing. Why the White House and some certain administration won't do anything towards pharmaceutical companies which charge out the ass for things, because they know as soon as they work with something with pharmaceuticals, the stuff that Hunter Biden gets is going to charge him an arm and a leg.
This whole fucking country's going to hell in a handbasket.
Not only just with Hunter Biden, but with any politician that does drugs behind the scenes.
I think there's just too much... There's too much name calling on Capitol Hill. There's not enough actual work being done. Mm-hmm. It's, these are my beliefs, they don't mix, we can't work together. I mean, I'm sure that you and me have different beliefs on things. I wouldn't put it past us.
There is one dude that I've kind of looked into. What's his name?
Say Alex Jones. I swear to God, I'm gonna
not
shit
Alex
my
Jones.
pants.
What's his name? Well, the actor from Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, kind of supports him.
Rob Schneider.
Rob
You're
Schneider.
talking about John Kennedy
Yeah, John Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy is he's hard to read.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like this. He's smart enough to know that if you're trying to take away our guns, it's going to cause a whole hell of a lot of problems. Number two, both sides need to get rid of their fucking egos and solve a problem. Both sides.
The problem I have with Kennedy is like, I support the 2A, but there's no reason you should have an AR-15. And it's like, no, you support the AR-15, and I have a problem with that right there.
Yeah.
Or not AR-15, but you support the Second Amendment, but there's a but there, and I kind of like.
Yeah, I agree with that, but
Second Amendment is Second Amendment, though.
Yeah, I agree with that, but there's also on the point to where both sides, both left and right, and I do agree with what he said. Both of them have to drop the fucking egos in order to solve a problem. You ain't gonna solve a problem by name calling. Oh, the left is weird and the right is bigoted. That's not solving the fucking problem. That's just name calling.
Yeah, you're just making it worse at that point. Like, I don't know. Actually, you know what? There is a quote I read earlier. Let me see if I can find it. It's actually one. Okay. This was on Twitter. But it's one of cinema's most powerful scenes occurs in a film many might disregard due to its genre. In The Outlaw of Josie Wales, a man trying to rebuild his war-shattered life rides out to face a Comanche chieftain. Josie says, "You be Tim Bears?" Tim Bears says, "I am Tim Bears." Josie says, "I am Josie Wales." Tim Bears says, "I have heard. You're the Grey Rider. You would not make peace with the blue coats. You may go in peace." Josie says, "I reckon not. Got nowhere to go." Tim Bears says, "Then you will die." Long story short, Tim Bear goes, la 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 la. It's sad that the government are achieved by the double tongues. There is iron in your word of death for all Comanche to see, and so there is iron in your word of life. That first statement right there. It is sad that the governments are achieved by the double tongues. Now, if that was actually a Comanche chief that said that, and I doubt that it is, but it's damn good writing.
Sometimes both sides make me just kind of go like, like. And there are, even though we guess could be seen as more lenient towards, I guess, the right, but we'll call off both sides, and because there are some certain things that even the conservatives do that
fucking like, turncoat ass Republicans.
Yeah, like fucking.
They support the Second Amendment, but I don't support the.
Yeah. It's like,
sorry.
So I ran across a Twitter of someone taking a picture of a girl in a bikini. It says like, "You're wearing this out in public, where women and children." Yeah, it's a fucking bikini on a boardwalk. Like. There's a difference between being protecting yourself in a location, like don't show too much of yourself in a certain location, and then being a fucking Karen in the middle of a beach.
Y'all too fucking sensitive nowadays.
Yeah, like, we're more along the lines of who you are is whatever, like, but don't try to tread upon our freedoms and like.
I'm glad you brought that up. Don't try to tread on our freedoms. That actually kind of rolls us into what we were going to talk about today. So, we would talk about the Constitution on here a lot.
Your mic is really far from your mouth.
Sorry, we talk about the Constitution here a lot, and that kind of rolls us into our actual topic for today. It is actually the 18th Amendment. Now, if anybody knows, or actually there's actually a lot of people who don't fucking know, the 18th Amendment was the alcohol prohibition. Give me 2 seconds and I'll pull it up here.
That's how long I take.
2 seconds to pull it up? All right. Article 18, the prohibition. It says, Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation thereof into or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. So basically what that meant in, let's see if I can find the actual date. I can't find it, but it's not on this page per se. Basically, that was like stamping out one of your rights just as a human being. You have the ability to ingest whatever the fuck you want to do. Ain't nobody gonna stop you if you really want to do it that goddamn bad.
Yeah.
This was a direct statement of, or a direct counter statement to "Don't tread on me." It was like, okay, well, here's this. Section 2 states that the Congress and the several states shall have current power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Now, what that meant was the appropriate legislation based on each state. So whatever legislature the state had in place for prohibition, they were allowed to basically pursue you to the full extent of the state's legislature.
Mm-hmm.
Section 3 states that this article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature of several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. That just basically says you gotta wait a little bit before it actually takes effect, but people still have to vote for it. Do you think it did any good?
I don't know. Here's where I stand with this. We have freedoms, but with those freedoms also come consequences. In the sense of, okay, the legal age to drink. I agree with the fact that if you're going to military, going to war, you should be able to drink. However, there is
Absolutely.
a point, but there is a point to where of the individual. Are they responsible? Are they, because there's a certain, remember the certain, was it YouTube? I've seen it on YouTube video now that back in the day, like the early 90s or 80s, where they said that they're taking away the person's right to drink and drive. Well, one of them was like, next thing you know, we're going to become a communist country. Not realizing the fact that drunk driving is a very bad thing, very fatal. So that to me kind of raises, okay, 21, I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a little bit longer for a person to mature. So
Yeah.
With a certain age, they don't realize the responsibilities behind drinking, like driving behind the wheel, being responsible enough. Not a lot of people will join up in the military, military is a thing to where you could age very fast and like mature, grow up very quickly. But it also depends upon the human being.
Mm-hmm.
So with certain freedoms are also some certain consequences.
Yeah, I think mental faculties play a great deal in responsibility.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like for all the stuff, the rules of each state, it's depending upon where you're at. Like from here in the state of Florida could be different from New Jersey. Like the statutory rules and the length of how long you either go to prison. I know in California, if say like if you do a certain bad thing, it may not equate to drinking, but if you steal a certain product or however many things that you steal, the worst that a police officer can do is give you a ticket.
Apparently, they just put in the
I could be
no
wrong with
bail
that.
or whatever.
No
I
bail.
think they just put past the no bail law or some shit.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Even 50 Cent was like, "Yo, watch how bad that shit turns."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got NASCAR out of the whole Prohibition era, so there's that.
Yeah.
That's about all the good I think that the whole Prohibition thing did. Like, I think it gave people an insight to like, hey, I think we need to like really rein in what's going on here. Which I think that, 21's a good age. You've got some mileage under you at least. You've at least probably been out on your own for a little bit and taking care of if you're taking care of yourself as an adult and you're doing it at least in a sensible manner, going out every now and then, having a drink or two at dinner, not really a bad idea.
But there's
I
always
I don't think it worked.
There's always that one that kind of puts a motto, we can't always have nice things.
Yeah. I mean, like when I go out, if I have a drink, actually, me and Evie, we kind of discuss, like, all right, well, do you want to drink tonight? Because if you're not going to, I'm going to. That means you drive home. And then, like, so if she wants to drink, she'll have 2, maybe 3 beers. I mean, it's a hard maybe. I'll have a beer and then, like, drink Coke or water afterwards. So, like, if you ever see me out at dinner and I'm drinking, I'm only going to have one usually. So, like, it taught the country moderation, and then, it taught the country, hey, fuck the government, we're going to get drunk.
Yeah.
So.
I'm more of a...
I don't know.
I was advocating against Bud Light before advocating against Bud Light was cool, man. I'm a liquor drinker.
Man, I've always hated Bud Light, dude. Like, I had a bad night on Bud Light. Okay, so 21 years old, there's a bar in Apache Junction, Arizona called Spirits. Now, I don't know if it's still out there, but that was my 21st birthday. Now, I had already turned 21, but I went in like a day afterwards. It was a Thursday. It was called Thirsty Thursdays. Now, you take a dime, or you take $1, and your first cup, it's a solo cup, one of the smaller solo cups, but it's a solo cup, right? Mm-hmm. You pay $1 for the solo cup, and your first beer is free. Every beer after that is a penny. Motherfucker, it's Bud Light out of a keg. Every beer after your first one is a penny.
You
so
might
what they do is,
I'm sorry. You might.
So they put an X on your wrist for your first one, so they know that you've had your first one. Mm-hmm. That way, they know to charge you a penny. You can literally go with $1.50, with 50 cents in pennies, and you'll probably come home with about 30 cents in pennies.
You lived outside of Lejeune, right?
Yeah.
Remember Augustus?
Yeah.
Nickel draft night. Outside of good old Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Cherry
Shout
Point.
out to my boys.
Cherry Point,
Air Boys, whatever.
because I lived in Havelock, which is Cherry Point.
Yeah.
I lived right across the flight line for the Harriers. So the Harriers used to fucking cross over my fucking house all the time in the middle of the night. Scare the shit out of my dog. So there was I can't remember what it's called. Something Patrick's.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But it was right across the street from the Mexican restaurant, right across the street from the food line. My girlfriend at the time worked at that food line, but we always used to go to that bar over there. That extended stay, that was right there. That's where I headbutted that Marine.
I remember this. Wednesday nights, almost every single Wednesday night was nickel draft night for Gus's. I would come home, and then next thing I know is that tanks would be roaming around on the field because they're out in the field. So around 2:00 in the morning, I'm home drunk from Gus's nickel draft night with a bad hangover, and I got tanks going off. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Good times.
I lived just outside Fort Leonard Wood for a little bit in Missouri, and I was outside one night. It was like the first night I was there. I was outside smoking a cigarette. I hear the fucking tank line out there fucking doing night ops and shit. Scared the piss out of me.
Good times. Good times.
I loved it though. Like once I knew what it was, I was like, oh, that's not that bad then. Tax dollars at work, bro.
Well, I'm like fucking hungover.
Right. Yeah, that night that I fucking headbutted that Marine, I also got alcohol poisoning, and then I got put into somebody's car in the back seat so I could sleep, and then ended up with some big ass fucking tall dude holding my hands over my head like this. He's like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You gonna hit me?" I was like, I fucking wanna.
That sounds like that sounds like a night out with the Marines.
Yeah, it's like, obviously I can't hit you. You've got my arms above my head and you're like 12 feet fucking tall.
That sounds like a night out with the Marines.
I thought about kneeing him in the fucking balls, but I was like, that's low, even for me. I'll headbutt you. I don't give a shit. But kneeing you in the balls is kind of low. Give a fuck who you are. But if you're that fat motherfucker JP that I headbutted, bitch, I'll do it again.
Here's to you, JP, you motherfucker.
Here's to you, JP. He came to a house party I had one night uninvited, and I had that motherfucker in the garage, and he said something about my girlfriend at the time who was living with me, and my buddy locked the door, and I heard the door click, and I decked his ass, pushed him into the fucking wall. He fell into the wall, and since it was drywall, it broke, and he got stuck in the fucking drywall, and I left his ass there. Turned the light off, locked the door from the inside.
Let him sleep through the drywall.
Click. Yeah, I was like, "Wow, sit down."
Were you at least kind enough to give him a pillow?
Or was his name BJ? I think his name was BJ because I always used to call him Blowjob for some reason.
And don't even remember his name.
Fuck no, I don't remember his name. You're not going to come into my house and disrespect my lady. I'll fucking... No, I don't give a shit what your fucking name is, but I think I used to always call him Blowjob, so I think his name was BJ. Like, what up, Blowjob? I fucking hated that dude. Hence the prior headbutt.
See, you didn't even bother to give him a pillow after you put him through I would have been at least...
I haven't even taken the time to remember the motherfucker's name. You think I was going to give him a fucking pillow? God, no. I shut the lights off.
Well, you still
left
allowed
him in the
to
garage.
Okay. To be fair, you still allowed him to sleep with turning the lights off and left him there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was cold outside. At least it was cold in the garage, too, so I guess whatever.
So you're being somewhat nice, so I'll give you credit for that.
I don't give a fuck. And Trey Williams, that motherfucker. I put that motherfucker in a... Not the point. Anyway. Yeah. Me and Marines didn't used to get along very well.
CIA has entered the chat.
I've fought 2 Marines, one unsuccessfully.
And NCIS has entered the chat.
I don't give a shit. I'll fucking do it again. Like that goofy meme?
Yeah.
Like that goofy meme? Yeah. I'll fucking do it again.
Doing that goofy laugh. I'll fucking do it again. Whatever, how he does it.
Yeah, nah. I fucking... You give me 5 minutes with either of them, and I'm headbutting somebody. Both of them, preferably, but I'm fucking throwing headbutts.
You're like that dad who walked into, was it like the kids' picnic, and then smacked the whole entire family, and like you just headbutting.
I'm breaking noses, just whap, whap.
Jerry, you can't do that. Whap.
You can't do this. Whap.
Police officer comes around. Whap.
Whap, whap. Just fucking pecking at him and shit. Just big old fucking knot on my forehead. Just don't even give a shit. Nah, but that fat fuck, I hated that fat fuck from the day I met him. He was one of those Marines who had a physical problem where he couldn't do PT and he just got fat.
Oh yeah, so
he was a Marine.
Oh, that's bad. I kind of hate that shit. But by the way, did you hear this?
Probably not. Did you fart?
No. Well,
I didn't hear it.
But
what?
Now there is a army side little boot camp to where fat bodies can go in before they actually go into the army boot camp. So,
is that physical? The Angry Cops did a video on it.
Yeah, it's like now you can. I think you can go into fat boy army boot camp before going to the actual boot camp. So now you're technically a soldier as a fat boy.
No, I think that
Nico Ortiz did a video on this, and I think twice. But
okay. Here's my standpoint. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay?
Okay.
Fuck you.
Fuck
Not
me?
you.
Oh.
Not you. Not you. But fuck you. Whoever came up with that idea, fuck you. Whoever came up with the idea to let this fat motherfucker that I headbutted, who I have not had the courtesy of remembering his fuckboy name, because I don't give a shit about him. Headbutt his ass again. That motherfucker was like 280 pounds of like blubber. And just he was a Marine, but he couldn't do PT. Couldn't do PT in basic. Couldn't do PT when he was stationed. Went overseas, didn't do PT, didn't do anything. Was a fucking Marine. I honestly think Marine, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force, whoever, National Guard, I think you need to adhere to some kind of physical fitness standards.
Yeah.
Like, a 280-pound Marine isn't going to do shit for me.
Now that I think about it, that dude could have been stolen valor.
No. He was an actual fucking Marine. Like, an actual Marine. I knew another guy. Trey, that dude. He was in his unit. I knew him. My buddy Richard, he was a chaplain. Knew him. He knew fucking whatever the fuck his name was. Like, legit shit.
But then, next thing that comes to mind is how the fuck could the unit let him get away with shit like that?
He had a doctor's note. How did you get in?
It's like we're a long...
How did you get in? Whose dick did you suck?
Yeah, it reminds me of the story about General Patton. General Patton went into the army tent. Some people may frown upon it. Some people may say, okay, I can understand it. He ran into a private that was there because he didn't want to go into battle because he missed his girlfriend at the time. I was like, motherfucker, you've got
I've heard this story.
You've got soldiers dying left and right, willing to go to the front lines. People here that are actually injured, and you're here because you're bitching about your girlfriend, missing about your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think that that's where leadership really needs to step in, like Patton and that stuff.
The military isn't there to comfort you. It's not there to make you feel better about. I mean, you do feel better about yourself when you do things like that. It's a confidence builder. I can't lie. But you're not there for your comfort. You're not there. You're there for a fucking reason. You're part of the military. Shit goes down. This world gets put into fucking World War III, and it's every country for themselves. Guess who's getting a rifle? Every fucking buddy.
I'll say this: if you're upset over
Got
being
nukes
called a she when you're trying to portray you're a he, these pronouns, fucking bullshit. Imagine how you're gonna feel when a fucking grenade or IED comes out, or a pressure plate, VBIED, vehicle-borne IED, is around. How are you gonna react? How are you gonna focus when you're so worried about your pronouns and not focused upon the fact whether if your buddy comes home or not, or your friend?
Look, I don't give a shit what you claim to be. A bomb does not care. A bullet does not give a shit what your pronouns are. A bullet does not. A fucking IED does not give a fuck what your gender is or what your assumed gender is. Like,
if you're there in the military, if you're in the boot camp, and you're stressing over certain things, you're like, oh my god, how the fuck are you gonna react when it's a high tense pressure situation, and then all of a sudden you're worried about your pronouns? The pronouns go out the fucking window as soon as you get hit or your buddy gets shot.
I mean, I want to go as far as like trying to give them a benefit of the doubt. I don't necessarily think in a combat situation you're gonna be worried about your pronouns. You're gonna be worried about your ass.
Because the drill instructors now, especially with in Paris Island and in San Diego, the recruits are not allowed to say sir or ma'am anymore. You get that bullshit?
I heard about that, and I don't know. Did you hear about what happened in San Diego?
No.
A Marine has been detained by NCIS for investigation of buying and graping a 14-year-old girl on base.
Yeah.
Like, he physically paid cash for sex to use this underage minor for sex.
Yeah. That's
just fucking
boot him the fuck out. Number one. Number two, where the fuck are the parents, or is this a sex trafficking thing?
I believe that's the underlying issue with it, is that it's part of a sex trafficking ring. I believe that this man needs to be held in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He needs to be held in a military prison for the rest of his life because he's a Marine. And because he's a Marine and has not vilified that uniform, but basically tarnished that uniform's reputation in a certain light and manner, I believe he needs to be held without any kind of release.
Oh, he's going to get double because as a military service member, if you get in trouble federally, you're going to be held to a kind of like underneath the UCMJ, and then also charged with state and federal crimes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but he was doing it on base, and I think that's even kind of what hurts it worse.
Yeah,
is that it was on base, on government property, and it's like, we all know what happens to those people in jail, and if he gets put either in a federal prison or stays in military jail, something's gonna happen to him, and not even concerned about that.
Yeah, it's like,
I kind of like, it sounds bad and no one should wish that, but until you have kids, or like you're involved with a kid, like, you know, my child, right? Motherfucker, all your rights are out the window. You're fair game.
Yeah, you're being charged with underneath the UCMJ and state and federal. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube, but
hey, just cut to you then, because that's fine. But like, I mean, that's exactly how I feel. Across the street,
yeah,
all day.
yeah. So it's like, I love my Marine Corps, but when stupid people do stupid things, and I'm not.
It's a goddamn shame.
Yeah, we'll call out anybody and everybody, like Lieutenant Colonel Schultz.
Good man.
A great dude who I admire. I think he's still running for political office at this moment.
Good for him.
And he called out the higher ups because being political yes men to Biden, which led up to the situation of our 13 military personnel dying.
Yeah, never be a political puppet for any administration. Stick to your guns.
You got to,
regardless,
Lieutenant Colonel or higher up for the shit that you do as a leader, not being political yes men.
Exactly.
So you know who isn't really political but will tell the truth because of freedom?
We'll definitely not know yes men, but that'd be Article 1776 all day.
All day, every day. Make sure you copy up a shirt, Liberty or Death t-shirt that you see right here. Article1776.com. Scottsdale, please give them your socials.
Scottsdale 87 on Twitch and Twitter. Scottsdale _87 on Instagram. I had to fix it because somebody took my name. I'm gonna find you. I'll buy my name back.
Identity theft. No, you can actually. My name.
Took my job.
Name.
Took my name.
You can find me, Matthew Kicklater, all the link description, socials in the link description below. All the stuff pertaining to Article 1776 clothing. I want to say thank you all so much for everything. Scottsdale, do you have a dad joke?
Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Yes. Like and subscribe. Comment what you want to see next, or what you want us to talk about.
All right, so it's actually more of a joke. Bar owner thought he had the strongest bartender in the world, and he had a standing bet for $1,000 that if the bartender could squeeze a lemon.
You told that one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Bartender. Oh,
Last
okay.
week.
Yeah. So no, I don't have anything. I'm prepared.
You have no jokes. It wasn't around much like Dad was.
No, jokes don't stay long. Just like my fifth stepdad.
And on that note, freedom to fuck on, everyone. We love y'all.
There's a lot of people getting milk.
God.
Mom,
love you
we're having
guys.
a buster. Later, bub.
Later.